We're on the road with Mickey, we're gonna have some fun. Regardless of the rain or sun, our trip has just begun. So buckle up, let's go, we're about to start the show. And maybe if you like us, you'll see where else we'll go.
Hey everyone, I'm Mike and she's Sophie.
And she's Brenda.
Hi, everyone.
And he's Grogu. And Grogu is so excited because we're back
Finally.
Yay.
after a 1 week hiatus because of scheduling and travel and everything like that. We are back and we are on the road with Mickey. This is episode 206 for February 12th, 2024. And our feature topic this week is our Disney Dream and Disney Magic cruise recap. That is uh that is like a whiz bang topic for us.
Yeah.
We are
it is.
so excited. But first, of course, we have some cheddar from the big cheese. So Sophie, you start us off.
All right. I'm going to preface this by saying I am very surprised, as all of you are, because Disney released a surprise trailer recently about Moana 2. This is not the live action Moana that is said to be in the works right now. This is an animated sequel to the first Moana, and it is going to be in theaters November 27th, 2024. It is less than a year away.
Mhm.
And this is the first time we're hearing about it.
I
And it's
know.
and it's
And it
gonna
looks cool.
and it's gonna feature Alihi Cravalho and Dwayne The Rock Johnson reprising their roles. And this was such a surprise. We had heard whispers of it, but had been expecting it to come out in 2025. So I'm very excited about this. And when I found the trailer, I was scrolling through TikTok and I came across Disney's official channel on the app. And that's what the video was about. I copied the link and sent it to Daddy. And I was like, Daddy, Moana 2 is coming out in November.
And she did that in all caps. That's how excited Sophie was. And
Yes.
then when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my gosh." And I became as excited as Sophie did. I mean,
Yay.
the
I know. Where'd
music
it
from
come from?
Moana is like top notch,
True.
you know? And I can't wait to see what they do. And I mean, I didn't know there was a need for Moana 2, but
I didn't think there was either, but just from the little clip that I saw, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, I'm excited too, Sophie.
Yay. Me
Yeah.
too. Yay. Well, there's another surprise that happened this week, and that was the announcement that 1900 Park Fair at Disney's Grand California Resort and Spa is going to reopen on April 10th, finally, for the first time since closing during COVID.
Grand
It's going to be
Floridian.
different than before.
Grand
But,
Floridian.
yep. What did I say?
Grand
You
Grand
said Grand
Californian.
Californian.
Did I really? I'm
Yes.
losing my mind. Grand Floridian. Sorry about that. Yes. Don't go to the West Coast for that. We're
No.
we're
No.
going to the East Coast for that. But it's going to
But
be different because aside, like they're not going to have like Mary Poppins like they used to and Alice in Wonderland. They're having Moana. They're having
mm,
I think they're
Oh.
having Mirabelle from Encanto, Prince
that's
Ali from Aladdin, and of course Cinderella. But I
that's
really am kind of
interesting.
sad they're not having Mary Poppins.
Well, yeah, I think I would be too.
Correct me if
Um,
well, that doesn't feel like it quite fits the theming of 1900 Park Fair.
Especially not 1900 Park Fair because the whole theming of the resort feels like Mary Poppins.
yeah,
It does. I
yeah.
could understand Moana and stuff being in the Polynesian and Aladdin. Well, I'm not quite sure where Aladdin would fit in the resorts, but maybe not Coronado, but
He'll be there at 1900 Park Fair.
well,
Prince
Well,
Ali and Tiana, Mirabelle, and
mm,
Cinderella.
Tiana and Cinderella, they
Not
would
Moana,
absolutely
Mirabelle.
work.
Yeah.
Mirabelle. Mirabelle. Interesting. Well, I still would prefer to see them over the Wicked Stepsisters. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that, right, Brenda?
Yep.
Anyway, I
Daddy, it's
have
your
some news
turn.
too. And
Yes.
Cindy told me this and she sent me a link. And it turns out that Disney and Epic Games. Now, Epic Games, a lot of you may know them by Fortnite, but they do other stuff as well. But what's really cool is Epic Games is local to us here in Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
Their offices are in Cary, North Carolina,
Ah, cool.
which is minutes from us. And Disney and Epic Games are creating an expansive and open games and entertainment universe that's connected to Fortnite. So they're going to expand on the Fortnite universe and add Disney and other
Mm.
stuff into it and just like build this whole kind of like a universe sort of thing, you know? Um, and I'm really excited to hear about that. In addition to that, Disney is, I think, contributing or investing $1.5 billion into Epic
Wow.
Games as part of this package. So I'm just kind of it's kind of mind blowing for me because it's all right here local.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm really curious to see what comes out of this. So
that's awesome.
that's my cheddar for today.
All right.
All right.
Well, that takes us into our feature topic. And our feature topic is the Disney Dream and the Disney Magic Cruise Recap. And Sophie has graciously agreed to interview Brenda and I about our trips. Um and so
Yeah,
she
because here's
has
the thing. I didn't go on either of these with them.
that's right. She did not go
Yeah.
on this. She didn't go with Cindy and I. She insisted that we take it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom, her Meemaw, came down to stay with her, and they had some really good girl time. Um,
Yes.
Sweet.
and and we had a really good time on the ship. But
Mm-hmm.
Sophie has compiled some questions for us, and so Sophie, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Thank you, Daddy. Well,
Thank
I
you.
have 10 questions listed here, and you can take as much time as you want with answering them. They're aimed at both of you, though I do know a couple of answers to these questions already, at least for Daddy, but there's still Aunt Brenda, whose trip I knew absolutely nothing about.
Oh, I
So,
remember. I'm a little worried about the Grand Californian Grand Floridian thing.
hey, it's okay. The
It's all
Grand
good.
Californian has plenty of great things to go visit there, like
That's
Napa
true.
Rose. That is a very pretty restaurant.
That's true.
Anyway, getting on into this, we'll start with question one. Have you ever cruised before? If yes, when did you go on said cruise and where did you go?
Mike?
Okay, well, this was our very first cruise of any
Mm,
kind. So I had not cruised before. So there is no previous cruise that we went on. But this was a very memorable first cruise for us.
and see, I knew he was going to answer that because I knew he'd never been on a cruise before, which is why this question was somewhat directed at Aunt Brenda.
Well, this was my 8th cruise on Disney, and I've also been on Royal Caribbean and Celebrity and Princess before.
Mm,
Um, my first cruise on Disney was 2011, and then we had subsequent cruises after that. I don't remember exactly what years I was on which ships, but we've been on the Magic and Wonder more than the rest because they've left from Galveston, which is right here local. And so this one was our 8th one, and it went to Progresso and Cozumel.
ooh. I'm not a big geology fan. Where are those exactly?
They're down south of us. They're in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
many cruises from Galveston go to Mexico. We've been to Cozumel a lot. So we didn't even get off the ship. We didn't get off the ship this time. We stayed on the ship and just enjoyed the peace and kind of
Oh, I
the
see.
lower crowd of people, which, the Magic and the Wonder don't get super crowded anyway because they're smaller ships. But we just enjoyed having just a peaceful day. It was wonderful.
Okay then, and is that where this most recent cruise went?
Yes, that's the one that in January just went. Yeah.
Okay, and Daddy, where did your most recent cruise go?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I
No,
thought
you're
you were
fine.
asking for the previous one, but
I
our
was, but I
cruise
figured I would include this
expanded.
one.
Okay.
Yes.
So our cruise left out of Port Everglades, which is in Fort Lauderdale. It's
Hmm.
Disney's brand new port for leaving their Disney cruises leave out of. And we left Fort Lauderdale and we ended up in Nassau. And we also had a day at Castaway Key.
Hey. Yep. I've
So
been to
Hey.
both of those and they're great.
only
Castaway
one
Key.
port destination other than the island. So
Okay then. And that was actually one of my future questions, so we'll come back to that. Question number 2, how is cruising with Disney different from going to a Disney park?
oh my, is this my turn, Brenda, or do you want to go
Yes.
first?
No, it's your turn.
I'm gonna tell you it is night and day
For sure.
different.
Hmm.
Okay. There are several things. First of all, when you're going to a Disney park, you want to ride rides, you want to experience as much as you can, and you're go, 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 go. Okay. Um, and you have to pay for your food and you have to, you know, have your accommodations and you travel, via transportation to the different parks. You don't stay in the park, obviously. Um, on a Disney cruise, it is much more relaxed. It is very relaxing. Um, and it's almost like you are in this really posh, elegant hotel that just happens to be on the water. You know,
Hmm.
everything that you need to do is right there in the ship, except for any excursions that you do at the ports that you go to. Um, but when it comes to Disney, a Disney cruise is as close, in my opinion, to an all-inclusive trip as you're going to find, because you can um, eat the food that's part of your cruise fare and drink, whatever the drinks are that you're drinking without paying any extra for meals, because it's all part of that. There are some meals that you can pay extra for, but for us, we just stayed with the rotational dining. And so we didn't do any of the extra meals this time. So it's just like being in a five-star hotel um,
Hmm.
that has all the posh and all the beautiful adornments that you would expect from such a hotel. Um, and it's just the most relaxing thing ever. So,
I see. And Brenda, anything else to add?
Well, there's no rides, obviously, on the ship except for the water coaster, which is a lot of fun. And they're
Hmm.
mhm.
called different things on the different ships, but they're aqua something. They're either aqueduct or, but they're a lot of fun. But that's the only kind of ride. There's a lot of things to do on the ship, though. I mean, there's games, there's trivia, there's just all kind of activities to do. They're a
Mhm.
lot of fun. Um, One thing that's the same, um, there's two things that are the same at the parks and on the cruises, as far as I'm concerned. One is the exceptional cast members. Exceptional.
Yeah.
I have been on other cruise lines. I've been to other theme parks. There's just Disney is just so far set apart. And the second thing is the food. And being on the other cruise lines, I could compare Disney to them, and Disney is just the best as far as I'm concerned. I just am always impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree entirely about, especially about the service.
Hmm.
The we'll get into that maybe a little bit later, but the the team that was taking care of us were night and they were just incredible, and we got to know them beyond just guest and cast relationship.
Definitely.
You get to know them
And
as
they get to know
people,
you.
and they
Yeah.
get to know
Mm-hmm.
us, and it's just really neat.
Yeah.
So
It sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, then. Well, now back to the excursions. I know you mentioned making only one port stop during your voyage, Shaddy, but could you elaborate about that and also what other ports you may have stopped at, Aunt Brenda? Just what did you do on land during the cruise?
Mike?
okay, well, we stopped in Nassau, which is in the
Mm-hmm.
Bahamas, and Cindy and I had arranged a port excursion that would take us through the morning. So it was not a long term thing. It was something that we left about 9 o'clock and we got back around lunchtime. And we had arranged a catamaran and shuttle bus land and sea excursion. So the first part of it was a catamaran, which is a small sailboat type boat, Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 41 people on our excursion, which I think they broke into two catamarans. Um, but they took us out on the water of the bay to see different really neat properties and hotels and stuff like that, and told us a lot about it. We saw a ship that was a yacht, but it was gray and it looked almost like a small battleship or a destroyer, like a military type
Mm.
ship. And it was Steven Spielberg's yacht. Um,
Whoa.
and it was just sitting there, and it was probably about a third of the size of our cruise ship. So it was huge. Um, but we also saw a lot of private housing. We saw at Atlantis, which is a hotel, Sophie, in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
There's two towers that go up, and then they have part at the top that connects the two towers, and that is a suite. And if I remember correctly, Michael
The
Jackson,
Michael Jackson suite.
yeah, he was the first one to stay there. And if you want to stay there, that's perfectly okay. But you gotta book 4 nights at 25 grand per night. Okay. So get your 100 G's ready because you're gonna need it. Okay. Um, and
I don't
and
need to stay there.
you have to book it like a year in advance or something like that. But we saw a lot of neat houses that famous people owned and everything like that. But just being on the water and just the very relaxing movement of the ship, it was really cool. It was, and our tour guide was really good. So we had a really good time with that. And then after that, they dropped us back at the port,
Mm-hmm.
and we went to a shuttle bus, and we took part of um, the Bahama crazy driving syndrome, because he said in the Bahamas, you drive on the left side of the road. And so left is right. And he said right is suicide. And then as soon as he said that, he went and got in the right lane. And I'm like, well, there you go. Guys, kill us all. But he drove, and you don't drive timid, you drive very fast, and you're aggressive, and it's just, if he said if you don't, they'll run right over you, you know. So it was kind of crazy, but we did three things on our land tour. We stopped at Fort Fincastle, which is a water tower, but also a fort that was built in the, I think, late 1700s to guard against pirates. There is also the Bahama Rum Cake Factory that he stopped us at. We had samples of rum cake,
How did
which,
you like it?
or how did I not like it?
Oh,
Because it was basically Sophie pound cake that they just soaked in rum, and it was pretty nasty. They had two flavors. They had original and they had pina colada. Of the two, the original was the better than the pina colada.
I
And
might
then,
want to try it.
well, I had both of my pieces. Mommy had one of her original, and because they gave us each two samples, and she did not eat the pina colada, and I didn't either, and it ended up getting tossed. And it was only a little piece, but it was it was very strong, and it was not appealing to me. And then the last place they took us over by Atlantis, there's a set of hotels that you could go, excuse me, and you could go look at, and we did that. And you know, it the land part, the most interesting thing I found about the land part is he would show us different buildings, and there were two things that were really interesting to me. One is he showed us the police compound where the police department is. And he also pointed to a huge building in the middle, which is where the chief of police and his family live. So they
Hmm.
live inside the police compound. And I thought that was really interesting. The second thing is the Princess Margaret Hotel. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
hospital, not hotel, hospital, which is the public hospital for those that have injuries. And he said, if you go there, a broken leg or a broken arm, you can get it fixed for $10.
Goodness.
And then he said, broken heart, no charge.
Oh,
But overall, I much rather enjoyed the catamaran over the land part. The land part didn't do much for me. So, but it was neat to experience both sides of that. So, that was our excursion that we took.
We did a hop on and hop off when we were over there in Nassau, and we did some of the same sites as you got on the land part.
Yeah.
oh, okay. And I heard you say that you didn't take any stops on this cruise, did you?
We didn't get off. We stopped, but we didn't get off
Okay.
on this particular itinerary. We've gotten off on many itineraries, and we've gotten off on this itinerary before, but we didn't this time.
Okay. All right then. Well, in the previous cruises that you've taken, Aunt Brenda, which stop do you remember being a favorite?
Our favorite is the 7-night Eastern Caribbean on the Fantasy. That's our favorite itinerary. We
Okay.
go over to St. Martin and St. John, and we love Megan's Bay Beach, which is beautiful. And we
Hmm.
always do that excursion over there. It's beautiful.
All
Yeah.
right then. So that covers, yep, we're already down to question 5. Wow. This is talking about the ship now. We've talked about land. What about sea? What did you do on the ship while you weren't at a port or it was a sea day, as I've heard you guys talk about it? What did you guys do?
Brenda, you go first.
Okay, well, um, as I'm getting, I don't know, more distracted in my age or whatever, I never get to read at home. I love to read, but I never find the time somehow when I'm at home. So I only ever get to read while I'm on a ship. So I did get to read. I read a great book, The Paris Library, which was fascinating, and I really liked it. And we did a lot of the, kind of trivia fun things on board. Like they had like theme park food trivia and just a whole lot of different categories of Disney trivia. And the fun thing about being on a Disney cruise, it's like a lot of times when you're at the park, obviously there are a lot of Disney centric people, that go to the park, but there's also just families that aren't necessarily Disney people. But on Disney cruises, almost everybody on the cruise is a Disney person. Like, it's just a totally different feel. Everybody is like a big Disney family. So even going to the trivia games and all that is so much fun because it's just so much fun. And we just really enjoyed it. And we, of course, enjoy the food and we enjoy the shows, of course. And we enjoy just relaxing in the adult areas. We enjoy everything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we we got on Wednesday, and Lisa was with us, and she took us all on a tour to see the different areas. And after that, we were able to enjoy eating. One of the places we ate was Cabanas, which is a buffet type for breakfast and lunch, and we enjoyed that. They have a restaurant that's also buffet that's based on Cars Land. So they had Flo's and they had Luigi's for pizza and other things like that. So it was kind of neat. Um, but in the evening, what we really enjoyed were the shows. So the first night we saw the Golden Mickeys, which was a show that was had like an Oscar style theme to it, Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
And what we were doing was we were the audience, and they had award presenters that were handing out golden Mickeys that looked like Oscars, to certain characters based on genres of Disney films and stuff like that. And so it was really kind of neat. And what was really neat about it is they had um, they had an award, the Golden Mickey
Mm-hmm.
for Snow White, and they grabbed a bunch of kids from the audience and asked them if they wanted to be part of the show and took them up to be part of the show. And they were dressed up as the different dwarfs. And so there was a girl right behind us in our row that got selected, and she had on like a beard, like a dwarf beard, and it was so cute and it was so cool. And she was part of the show, and she was waving to her family, and we're like, "That's your kid," and they're like, "Yeah, that's my girl," and it was so neat, because it's almost like they just grab them, almost like the analogy I liked was thinking about Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, where they bring people in from the audience and to answer different things. It's kind of that same thing, except you're going up on stage. It was really cool. And they did that for all the different shows that they did. They had some form of thing that involved the audience. It was really neat. So the first one was Golden Mickey's.
Mm-hmm.
Second one we saw was Beauty and the Beast, and it was absolutely incredible. The third night, we actually saw a movie instead of a show, and we saw Wish. And we were there with Cheryl and her husband, Dave, who Cheryl's a pixie, and they had never seen it. So we got to watch it through their eyes a little bit because they sat with us. And then the fourth night was Disney's Believe was the show, and it was absolutely incredible. And I absolutely loved it, and I cried, and have no ashamed. I am not ashamed of crying in
I am not
that
a
show. So it was really good. It was
all of the
really,
shows
really
on
good.
all of the ships are fabulous. I mean, Broadway will take actors from the Disney ships to Broadway. I mean,
Really?
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
Brenda,
hadn't realized
did
that.
you watch any shows? Did you see any
Yeah.
special shows that you liked?
We had Twice Charmed, which is it was the first time I'd seen Twice Charmed, and I loved it. It's a Cinderella story. It's a little different. I don't want to give it away for anybody going, but I really loved it. And we had Tangled the musical. And Tangled the
Oh,
musical, I mean, I obviously know the story of Tangled, and it's very much like that. But the ship on the way to Cozumel we had 47 knot winds, and it was rocking a bit, and I wanted to go lay down in the room, so I turned our TV to channel 4 and watched Tangled the musical, because you can watch it live in your room while it's happening in the auditorium.
Really?
But we
yeah.
were in the auditorium for Twice Charmed, and that was real. I mean, they're all the shows are just really, really, really well done. Just
Wow.
Yeah.
beautiful.
And on the Dream for Beauty and the Beast, Kim, who's a pixie, she got motion sick, and
Oh
so she
no.
could not see the show. But that night we were just flipping through on the TV, and on the Dream it was channel 29, which
Awesome.
show it in a replay also.
Oh yes, they
So
do have that
so
replay channel. Yeah.
when she was not feeling well, I sent a message in their group chat that she was able to see it on 29, and it really made her day because she was able to see it from her room.
Yes. Because you
So
don't want to miss it, but you can't,
right,
you
you
often
can't help it when you're not feeling well.
exactly. Yes.
So
All right, then. Well, speaking of rooms, you guys give me good segues. What about the rooms on the ship? I know I've seen pictures, but I didn't see any people in said pictures. So tell me, Daddy, how was the room on the Dream? Aunt Brenda, how was your room on your ship? What did you guys think of them?
okay, so Cindy and I had a standard inside stateroom. So
Mm-hmm.
that is the lowest level you can get is a standard inside stateroom. And we did that primarily for the cost because not knowing whether we're going to like the thing or not, we didn't want to put a lot of money down towards something that we wouldn't like, potentially not like. So we did a standard inside stateroom, which in our room, it was deck 8 midship, and we were room 8053.
Mm-hmm.
And um, and we could sleep three. At least I think it could only sleep three because there were three life vests in the room. Okay. And um, we had a magical porthole window. So we didn't have any windows, but we had a TV screen that we would flip the switch and it would activate a web camera that would show us what it looked like outside, and it showed it from the aft of the ship. So we could see where we had been, but we could see what the sea looked like and if it was choppy or whatever. And
Kind
on
of
the
mimics
magic,
having a window so you don't
it
get
mimics having a
claustrophobic.
window.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the other thing it does, since it's magical, every now and again, characters would come up on the screen and you would see them. We had Tinkerbell showed up quite a bit to do pixie dust on the window, and we had Up. We had Doug from Up, who was attached via balloons, who floated through the top,
Cute.
and we had Mr. Frederickson,
Hmm.
who was smiling at us, and he dropped his cane. Um, we had Dumbo come across, and we had Peter Pan and Wendy and the boys coming through, and so we just, every now and again, it wasn't all the time, it was just every now and again they would show up. So it was kind of neat. um as far as the room goes, we had a king side bed, like a California king, and we had a sofa that turned converted into a bed for a twin, and then we had a one bathroom. We did not have a split bath. So on a Disney ship, anything that's a deluxe inside stateroom and higher will have a split bath. So
Hmm.
you can have one side of the bathroom is closed off for the toilet and the other side for the shower and bathtub.
And they both have a sink in them, so you can get
Yeah,
ready in either one.
right. But in
Okay.
but in a standard, you only have the one bathroom with the one toilet, one sink, and all that. So that's the thing. And if there is one thing that would have been harder if we had more than just Cindy and I, it would have been that bathroom because it's cramped
Hmm.
in there. But as far as the room went, I mean, we had plenty of space, and we weren't feeling tight or anything. So, and I think even if you had been with us, Sophie, I think we would have been fine. So,
Okay.
Good. Well, Butch and I were in a deluxe ocean view stateroom with veranda. Um, there was just the two of us. We had, the split bath, and we had the bed, the sofa, the coffee table, the veranda where we sit out and have our coffee, etc. We've had that type of room many times, and we really like it. And unfortunately, once we had a veranda room, we never could go back to not having a veranda room. So we're kind of
mhm.
stuck now.
Mhm.
With that. So, but we really enjoy it because we like to sit out there and have our coffee, and it's like one of our favorite things to do on the ship. So, yeah, we pay extra for that and we thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of the things that I really liked, we had the same thing. We had a spot for our desk and a coffee table and whatnot. And I I paid for the internet on the ship, and I got
Mhm.
a story that I think is really incredible.
Oh, good.
Especially if you have a family where dad is like me, he's self-employed, he has to stay in touch with his business and all that, or mom is a professional and needs to stay in touch with her business. I paid for the internet. I paid for the premium internet for one device. And what I learned was that if I wasn't using it on my laptop, I could use it on my phone and disconnect the laptop and use it on the phone. Or
Yep.
Cindy could log in on her phone or iPad and use it and disconnect me from the other one, And so we didn't need it but one device. That's all we needed to pay for. But what was really cool, Brenda, was I wanted to get some work done. I was in the stateroom. Cindy was taking a nap. I had my premium internet up on my laptop, and I was able to connect to my accounting system, and I was able to make a remote connection back to my office here in Raleigh to my laptop in my office
Nice.
and connect to that computer to pull up stuff I needed to look at
Yeah, the
through a
connectivity on Disney is awesome.
through and then Sophie was texting us when we were at Castaway Key, and I was
Mhm.
connected there on the beach
Hmm.
texting with Sophie. And
Yep.
it's just phenomenal that all that worked the way it did. So
Yep.
big thumbs up, two thumbs up on the internet as far as I was concerned.
Yeah. We both get it because we're very in touch with family back home. And so we can text them all
Mhm.
day long or FaceTime them whenever we want. We just like to be
Hmm.
able to do that.
So that was, and if you have a husband or a mom that's a professional or whatever that isn't sure they can devote that time, well, guess what? Now you can devote that time and still get some work done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, I did hear that you guys have been working very late to catch up after being gone for
Well,
4
sure,
days.
sure.
Yeah.
That's what
Well,
happens when you go on vacation.
yeah,
Sometimes, yep. It's the trade-off. It's what you do. It's
I'm
Yeah.
the
lucky. No matter what I do the day before, it always gets reset by the end of the night.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good thing.
All right, next question, Sophie.
All right, then. Next question. Food, because I'm getting a little bit hungry. So, what kind of foods did you eat?
Oh,
Go ahead, Mike.
oh my gosh. I got pictures if you want me to show, but
That
um
was actually the last question was, are there any pictures that you guys
okay.
want to share? So
I'll get
save
that
them.
ready. I will get
Save
that
them.
ready. I will.
I'll have to send
Um
y'all some because mine are on my phone still.
we the first we ate, like I said, we only did rotational dining.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for those that don't understand what rotational dining is, like me, and needed to learn, then I'm going to tell you. So we had Disney Dream has three main dining rooms that are open for all guests based on, regardless of what stateroom or whatever. And what they do is you rotate from one restaurant to the next to the next. And no matter, and depending on how long your cruise is, then you rotate back.
You don't
Um,
rotate all in one night. You rotate each night. There's a new
right,
one each night. Yeah.
correct. Um, And what happens is you are assigned a stateroom host who takes care of your room. And ours was Lewin, and he was from India. And then you have a server, a head server, and our head server was Rui. And then you have a server that was, oh my gosh, what's his name?
Assistant server. Yeah, the
And
assistant
you
server.
have an assistant server, but there's a head guy too
A
for
lead
each
server. Yeah.
restaurant. Yeah, and and Katrina was our assistant, and I can't remember, his name is escaping me for the moment. But
Hmm.
anyway, all four of those, so the stateroom host is for your room, but the other three travel with you to each restaurant. So you have the same staff helping you every night. And that's really cool because you get to know them. So
Mm-hmm.
the first night we ate at Animator's Palette, and that was really cool. And it has TV screens that showed stuff from Finding Nemo. So we saw Bruce on TV, and we saw the other characters and things like that. Um, and we had Dude Crush talking to us and everything like that. And it was really neat.
Is
And
it
then
true that you can draw like on the table or something and
you
have
sure
the
can.
characters get animated?
Yes.
Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds so cool.
And you can also draw on the tablecloths. And there was um, Nestor. Nestor was my server. I kept thinking I kept thinking Nortel, and I'm like, that's not right. But anyway, Nestor was the server for our table, and Lisa was at our table also. And she asked him, "Can I draw on it?" And he was teasing her, and he was like, "Yeah, you can draw on it, but then you got to be at laundry at 5:30 in the morning to wash the tablecloths." And so they had that running gag going, but you can draw on it and they'll just clean it and you just take the crayons and clean on them and everything like that. And
Wow.
so she was drawing Mickey um, on the tablecloth. And she did that because a couple of the agents were at our table and they had younger children that they brought with them. And so she did it to engage the kids. And so it was really cute.
And if you're
But
on a 7 night or longer, you actually draw it onto a piece of paper and they actually bring it to life for you.
well, that's cool.
Really?
Yes, 7 night or longer. Yes, it's
Wow.
Okay.
so much fun to watch you because you're supposed to draw yourself, and I suck at drawing, but it's funny to watch yourself, dancing on the because they make it animated. It's really
Well,
cute.
that's cool.
Wow.
So I didn't experience that. That's something to
No,
look
because
for the
we were
next
on
one.
the shorter. Yeah.
And then next night we were at Garden,
Mm-hmm.
Enchanted Garden,
It's
which
beautiful.
is absolutely gorgeous. And we learned that they were going to change the menu at Enchanted Garden and make it more of a buffet.
Hmm.
And or do something like that. I don't remember the exact story, but they decided not to. And the reason they decided not to is because it was decided that the meal you get at Enchanted Garden is the best one on a Disney cruise ship. That's what they told us. And
Ooh.
and it stood up. I had prime rib. They also had scallops, they had sea bass, they had salmon, they had all these different things. And every single that's the entree. You also can order an appetizer and a soup that were
And
incredible.
dessert.
And the desserts. Um, my dessert the first night was a cheesecake that was really good. The
Hmm.
second night, and the first night, Cindy had a Mickey Premium ice cream bar,
Yay.
and Nestor was teasing her. He's like, "Well, I'm sorry, those are for only under age 12." And she's like, and then he said, do you think are you under age 12? Are you 11 and a half? And she said, I'm 9 because she counts her digits. So right now she's 9. So she
Yeah.
got one. And then I took her lead. And the next 2 nights I had Mickey Premium ice cream bars for
There you
dessert.
go. There you go.
It was just so neat. But the food was incredible. Oh my gosh.
Goodness. Yeah.
I had a pork chop Sophie that
Yeah.
was about 2 inches thick.
Hmm.
It was bone in.
Ooh.
It was had Dijon mustard
Mm-hmm.
on it as it was cooked,
That
and
sounds
then
like the way I make mine somewhat.
yeah, and then it was covered with panko bread crumbs for the crunch at the end. And oh my gosh, so good.
It almost sounds as good as the one I cooked for Mima and me while you were gone.
And
Yay.
um and mommy had sirloin steak a couple nights. Oh, and it
Mm.
had the pork chop had or I mean, the prime rib had a twice potato that was oh so good.
Ooh.
The food was just so good.
It
So you had
sounds really
Animator's Palette
yummy.
and you had Enchanted Garden, and what was your third?
Royal Palace, and that was French cuisine, and
Okay.
that was good too. And then the day we left the ship, we had that was our last night, and then the next morning we had Royal Palace again for breakfast.
Yeah.
So normally we just did cabanas or something like that for breakfast to get the Mickey waffles and pancakes and stuff. But this
Yeah.
time
Oh, waffle
we had
sounds
sit
good.
down. So
Yeah, all the Disney ships have the cabanas. So that's
Okay.
kind of like the casual dining when you don't want to, you just want to eat whatever looks good to you.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And they have a lot of selection. A lot
Oh,
of
they have a
selection.
ton of selection.
Yeah.
Um they had chilled crab legs and shrimp,
Shrimp. Just
and
in
then
mounds.
yeah,
Wow.
My
a-
husband goes straight for that.
and they had hot dogs, they had burgers, they had pizza, they had kielbasi, not kielbasi, bratwursts. I had bratwursts that were good.
They
Um,
had Mexican
and
dishes, Asian dishes.
sandwiches, yeah, just
Yeah,
about
all kind
everything,
of stuff.
all sorts of stuff. So,
Desserts, always. Muffins, and they have the chocolate croissants and all those in the morning.
yep. All right. So, Brenda,
All
what
right.
did you eat?
Well, we also did rotational dining, of course. We had 3 restaurants. We had Rapunzel's Royal Table, which
Mm.
also has a show.
Oh,
We had Lumiere's, which is fancy, and we had Animator's Palette also, which I love. Um, I loved all of them. I Somebody asked me the other day what my favorite food was, and I had delicious food like you, and I had a lot of steak because a lot of times they offer shellfish entrees and or something that has something in it that I can't have. So I get a lot of like steak, pork, things like that, chicken. But my favorite thing that I had on this cruise, I think it was Butch's favorite too. It was called the Classic Opera Gâteau at Lumiere's. It is layers of Jaconde sponge soaked in coffee syrup, chocolate ganache, and rich buttercream. This cake was to die for. It was the best thing we ate on the entire cruise. It was so good.
Mm.
It was really so, so good. And we had Horace was our room attendant, and then our servers were Oliver and Sati, and then our head server was Alex, who we loved very much because when I signed up for the cruise, I signed up late and we had late dining, and I waitlisted for early dining because I usually at home finish eating at like 6:30 every day. So eating at 8:15 every night was not something I really wanted to do. And when
yeah.
we got on the cruise, I had asked if they had anything open up for early dining, and they didn't. And the first day, one of the families had gone to Palo. And so Alex called us and said, we have a family that's gone to Palo. I'm going to work you into this 545 spot. And we were like, thank you so much. And the wait staff that first night, every time we saw them the rest of the cruise, they remembered our first names. Every time we saw them one
Wow.
night, they remembered our names. And then on our last sea day, we went to Palo for brunch. And oh my gosh, because Palo has just amazing dishes. And on a Disney cruise, the menu's kind of more of a guide. Like it has
Uh huh.
appetizers and then like salads and soups and then entrees, and it has several different selections in each of the categories, but it's the only place you can go and for free try things you've never tried. So you might get the steak, but you might
Mm.
also get the lobster tail, and you might get 3 appetizers because you can't decide which one, and you can order whatever you want. And you can try different things. We did that mostly with desserts because we are who we are. But at Palo, they make a pizza and they make the crust from scratch. It's an Italian restaurant. They make this crust from scratch and they made it for me with no tomato sauce. Oh my God. It was so
Oh,
delicious. It
that
was
sounds
so
so good.
delicious. And I know it's weird to have like pizza was my favorite. It was not a pizza, a regular pizza. It was so good.
Listen, I'm right there with you, Aunt Brenda. I think that pizza is great, but when it comes to pizza without the tomato sauce, that is something of its own. It's not quite
Yes.
pizza, it's something else, and it's delicious, whatever it is.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
so good. It was really so good. But I do have a lot of pictures of really great food, but the food is one of the very best things about Disney cruising.
Yeah, absolutely is. I
And
had
of course, you have access to ice cream all day long. And of course,
uh-huh.
Butch and I may or may not have ordered room service at 11:30 p.m. and gotten hot chocolate chip cookies and Mickey bars and made our own ice cream sandwiches.
You may or may not have, yeah.
We may or may not have, and
You
we may
know
or may not have
what
thoroughly
happens on
enjoyed
a
that.
Disney ship stays on a Disney ship.
That's right. Except when you're on a podcast talking about it.
There you go.
I don't know. For all I know, you two could be on a Disney ship without
You
me
never
again.
know. Oh no.
I don't
Or
know.
better
We'll
yet,
see.
our listeners could be on one right now or something,
That's
in
true.
which case, how dare you not bring me either? All right
Well,
then. I
what other
have
questions?
I have 3 questions left. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Question number yes, 7, 8, 9, no, 8, 9, 10. Question number 8. Was there anything that surprised you about the cruise?
I was surprised knowing it's Disney, knowing there's families, knowing that there's kids because kids have, parents have kids and that's their
Mhm.
family. I was very amazed at how much adult only activities there were on a family cruise ship.
Hmm.
And what even blew my mind even more is on when you got to the section, there had like these partitions that said only people age 18 and above beyond here. And that was taking you into the adults area. And on this side, the non 18 side, it's like noisy as all get out. And you hear all the kids having fun and playing and jumping in the water and whatever. And you walk through that partition, it's almost like this wall went up and it was soundproofed because the next thing you know, it's peaceful, tranquil,
Yeah.
relaxing. And I'm like, where did the sound go?
Oh, yeah.
Because it was incredible how much difference there was. But what was really cool, Sophie, you will love this.
Yeah.
We were in the adults area and
Mhm.
we had a meeting because we had Sue, our business development manager, was on the ship with us, Brenda.
Cool.
She was able to join in because of the number of pixies that booked rooms. And
Nice.
And so we had a meeting every Friday just to what did you learn? What did you experience? How would you sell it to your client kind of thing. And those were really cool. And one day we were having that meeting and all of a sudden outside in the tranquil quiet area, it just exploded in noise.
Oh.
And I'm like, what is going on? Don't they know we're meeting here? This is our space.
Ah.
Not really, but my mind was thinking that. And we looked out and it got noisy because a bride and a groom were walking down
Aw.
the steps and they got married on the ship
Sweet.
and she was in her wedding dress.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was pirate night.
Beautiful.
And when with pirate night was when we had our fireworks at sea and we went to go find a great spot for the fireworks and so we were up in another adults area where the fireworks would go off and and they came up later and they had pictures taken of them with the fireworks and they
Oh,
part of their
beautiful.
wedding photos and I'm telling you she must have been so cold because it was windy up there and it
Oh,
was cold and I'm like where's my jacket. And
yeah.
she didn't have that. She was in her dress. But
Oof.
Beautiful,
it
though.
was
What
so cool.
beautiful pictures. Yeah. Well, that was a nice surprise.
That
That
was a
was a
great
nice
surprise.
surprise. And Brenda, anything surprising to you?
Nothing I can think of that was surprising. I know the Cove Cafe where we go and have our coffee and chill, and that's mostly where I read, had a great coconut and caramel coffee that I got every day. I haven't had that one before, and it was delicious. So that was a nice surprise. I
Our
can't think of anything else.
our mugs that I got for Sophie and my mom and myself, we got them at Cove Cafe. That's
Nice.
where we had our meetings, was in Cove Cafe.
That's nice. We always take our own cups now. You'll need to remember that for the next time. Bring your own cups because those ones for the refill stations are kind of small. But we
Yeah, and
always
we
bring
brought
our
our
own
own
cups now. Yeah, I brought my
we brought
travel
our
agent
own
big
cups
old
too.
Yeti cup.
Yeah.
We brought our own cups, Sophie, you'll like this. We
Yeah.
brought our own cups for the drinks, and we also brought a popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
And when we would go to the plays, we would get a
It's right
popcorn.
there on the table next to the couch.
That one is the one I bought. I
Oh.
bought one too, but they have refills of the popcorn bucket, Sophie, for like $2 for a bucket of popcorn.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Yep. He had his
totally
popcorn and
worth it.
Diet Coke.
Yes, I had popcorn and Diet Coke several times too, I might add.
He got his snack, Mommy got hers. I'd say this cruise was a success.
Yes, for sure.
All
And
right,
correct
next
me if I'm
question,
wrong,
Sophie.
but Mommy never got any motion sickness, did she?
She did not. She took
Yay.
the tip that we have is we bought Bonine.
Yep. That's what I told you to get too.
Uh-huh. And she took a Bonine once a day and never had any issues. We would feel the movement every now and again. It wasn't bad, but depending on where we were, we would feel it. But it did not bother us. It felt more like we were sitting in a rocking chair than
Got
anything.
it. Okay.
And
I have to tell y'all a funny story about being on a Disney cruise. You know how they have the movies in the theater? They have movies in the theater like the Walt Disney Theater. No, that's where the shows are. But they have like first run movies in the theater. And one of the times that Butch and I were cruising, I don't know where we were going, and it doesn't really matter for the story, but the movie was Our Finest Hour. Did you ever see that movie?
mm-mm.
Well, it's based on a true story, and it's this ship is going down throughout the whole movie. It's like going down, and the whole point of this movie is they're rescuing these soldiers. I mean, these crew members that are going down on this ship. The weirdest thing is being in a theater on a ship that's rocking and watching a movie with a ship that's rocking. It's the most, it's like 5D, right? It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I would want to see that on a ship though.
It was
Hmm.
awesome. It was a great movie I had never heard of. We
So,
saw Bridge of Spies that I had never heard of with Tom Hanks. That's also based on a true story on a Disney cruise, and I had never heard of either one of those movies, and they're
mm-mm.
excellent.
Hmm.
Excellent.
Wow. Well, two things on the Dream, the Walt Disney Theater is where the shows are, but they
Mhm.
also, that's also where we saw Wish on the,
Oh,
they had brought screens up to make the movie play. But they also have, Sophie,
Yeah.
Buena Vista Theater, which is your regular movie type
yes.
venue. Um, we only went there though, because that's where we went to do our excursion to get off the ship. They had us grouped together and whatnot based on our excursions.
Yeah.
So that's how they organized for that. But yeah, so those are the two main areas for the entertainment as far as that kind of entertainment goes.
We had
But
Wish and we had Marvels for our like
they had Marvels. So
movies.
we didn't watch it, but they
I
had
didn't watch
Marvels
either
at
one.
Buena Vista. We saw Wish, and we enjoyed it. So
Hmm.
That's good.
All right, then. Well, you guys had gotten a little bit into this question with the last one, but what are some tips and tricks you would recommend to someone who hasn't cruised before?
Brenda, you go first.
Well, there's a billion tips for never been before. Well, I don't know. Let's start when we get on the ship. When you get on the ship, you can either go to one restaurant that's open and have your breakfast or lunch, depending on what time you get on the ship, or you can go to the cabanas. And on the Magic and the Wonder, the cabanas is on deck 9, and on the Disney Fantasy and Dream, it's on deck 11. So you can either go to one of the restaurants, which are usually on deck 3 or 4, or to the cabanas. And we traditionally go to the cabanas. This time we went purposely to Rapunzel's royal table because I wanted to get pictures of it before every table had crowds for dinner. So we did that. So you can do one of those things. And then the rooms are usually ready about 1:30, and they'll make an announcement and say, your staterooms are ready. And then soon after that, you'll receive your luggage. And what I usually do is, the first thing is when I go to the room, I put my passport, our passports in, and anything else that's like valuable into the safe. And then I put a note in my phone for the night before we disembark to get the stuff out of the safe, because I'm always scared I'm going to forget it there. Because like it's out of your sight for 7 days or whatever, you don't remember it. And so I worry about that. So that's like one of the first things we do. We love hanging out at the adult areas. Our wake up call every single day that we're on a ship is coffee at the door. So there's a little card in the desk in your room, and you can fill out for room service the next morning and hang it on your door at night before you go to bed. And we order a pot of coffee with cream, 2 cups, and 2 glasses of water every single night. We hang that on our door. And so our wake up call is coffee's ready. We get to pour our coffee and sit down on that is like our favorite thing about cruising. So that I highly recommend doing your room service the night before, or you can call it in the morning. It's just, if you know what time you want it, you can set it for a certain time, because you tell them when to bring it. You choose the time, but you can also wait till you wake up and then order it. And then we always tip like $5 every morning. We always prepay our gratuities, but we've never been on a cruise that we didn't give extra gratuity, because the staff is just amazing. I mean, they're just amazing. And I didn't finish the story earlier, but Alex, our head server at the restaurants, did end up maneuvering us to for eating every night. And we really tipped him a lot. We really appreciated the extra effort he put into that. So they're just fantastic. Let's see what else. What else can I tip? Tipping. Well, trying to think of other things that are like, I mean, you can get like a day, if you're going to do a spa day, do like the rainforest day. It's usually more economical, and you can just hang out and do all kind of activities at the spa. What else? Trying to think of what else to say that's, I mean, just, use your navigator, and it just lists all the things for all day long, and choose the things you want to do. It's just so much fun. It used to be a paper navigator, and we would take highlighters for each person in our party and highlight their color on whatever they wanted to do. But everything's on the Navigator app now. So,
well, can I go then?
Yeah, because I can't think of anything. Our hot cookies and our Mickey bars delivered, and our coffee. I can't think of anything off my head.
All right,
well,
Daddy.
Well, speaking of the Navigator app, excuse me. The Navigator app is really cool. We had a big group chat because there were 10 Pixies plus Lisa, so 11, and Sue, our BDM. So we had this huge group chat going, and it was really done. It was all done through the Navigator, and that is something that's part of the Wi-Fi of the ship, where you don't need to pay for the internet for that. So there are things you can do in there that you don't have to pay extra for, like I did for the internet. And that's really neat because it allows you to keep in communication with other people. But one of the things is that you can also schedule a placeholder. And what a placeholder, Sophie, is you put down a small amount, and you have 2 years to use it, and it gives you a reservation, and you get to apply that money towards your next cruise, and you get, depending on the cruise and the time of year, you get up to 10% off.
Ooh.
And Sophie, Mommy and I put in a placeholder for a cruise that you're gonna go on with us.
When is
Yay!
Well, I don't know when yet,
Sometime
but
within the next 2 years.
we gotta do it. If we don't do it by February 3rd, 2026, it will cancel and we'll get our money back. So sometime this year or sometime next year, most likely. So we have to start talking about where we want to go.
Yay!
I have, well, I'm gonna keep saying this. I would love to go on a cruise around the Mediterranean, but I know how expensive those are. So I would be happy to go on a cruise anywhere.
Yeah.
It's
So-
funny because I'd been joking around with Mommy and Daddy. I was like, so has he already put in the bounce back deposit for another cruise ship yet, Mommy? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. No, he has not.
Because
Well,
it's
the
not
thing
called
about the
a bounce back,
Mediterranean
it's called
cruises
a
is the
placeholder.
flight to get over there. Those flights are very expensive to get
They
over there.
are.
So not only are the cruises very expensive, but the flights are very expensive.
They are.
So
And
it's,
then
but you know,
one thing that we're not doing, but would be really neat at some point, if we get experienced enough with cruising and we think we want to do it.
Mhm.
One of the things the Dream is doing in the next month or so, it has a 13-night transatlantic to Barcelona.
yeah, and then you
From
just fly back
Florida.
from Barcelona.
And then they will have the Dream will be navigating, will be sailing in the Mediterranean down the road after they do that.
Mhm.
And so it's a one way and then you fly back afterwards.
Yeah,
But,
it's a repositioning, and then they cruise from Barcelona to, various places. Now, if you have unlimited time and unlimited money, you can cruise that repositioning, then get on to one of the cruises that it's sailing to from there. If you have unlimited time, it's just who does.
yeah. But anyway, so Sophie,
That's an
gotta
idea.
we got to start thinking about it. So that
I
means
need to get my
you need to
passport.
get your passport.
Yay!
Although I will tell you,
Mhm.
there was a guest in front of us when we were getting off ship to go to Nassau who had just her driver's license and her birth certificate, and that was all that she needed to get off and get back on the ship.
That's all you
Um,
need for a closed loop cruise. But you do
Right.
you have to have a passport if something were to happen and you needed to fly home from one of those ports.
Exactly.
Got
So
it.
while that would work, it's still better to make sure you have your passport because you need to make sure, if, like Brenda said, if something happens, you want that passport with you, you know?
Yes.
I
And
also
so-
highly recommend having travel protection because things do happen. And
Yeah.
if you have to be medevaced out of somewhere, I'm not trying to doom and gloom it, but you could fall down the stairs and break your leg in 4 places and you have to be medevaced home, and that travel insurance is it's gonna
Cover
Yeah.
it.
end.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want anything to happen to anybody, but especially on a cruise, I recommend it.
Just in case.
I do.
Oh yeah, it's insurance for a reason, and that
Yeah.
is very valuable insurance to have, and we had it on ours. So
Good.
Yeah. I had
But-
a
Right
friend of
then.
mine that went to Europe, and the first day there from the place she was staying, she fell down the stairs and had to be medevaced. Her first day, she had to be
Uh.
medevaced home. She was going. Her niece is in the Olympics, so she's missing a leg, and she does skiing. Anyway, her first day, she had to be medevaced. It was tens of thousands of dollars just to get home.
Oh my gosh.
So it's worth it for sure.
Well, she's okay, right?
Oh yeah, she's perfect now.
Okay, good. Good.
So for us, the cost of the placeholder was $250
Yeah.
per stateroom. You can book 2 staterooms. We only did one, but it
Mhm.
would be $250 per stateroom. And like we said, if you use it, then it goes towards your cruise, and you get a 10% off. If you don't use it, you get a refund of your $250.
Yeah,
So
and you used to have to go to a desk on the ship, but now you just do it right from the app, and they
you can
just
do it
charge
right
to
from the app.
to your bill, your stateroom bill.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
And
They made it easy.
one of the nice things for us as travel agents is it asks the question, do you want to use the same travel agent you used before? And I'm like,
and
yeah,
you used me, right?
because I used Mike Ellis Travel Agency, and I want to keep using Mike Ellis. So yeah, I think I will. But what's really neat is it asked the question.
Yeah.
You don't have it. It asked it for you. It's not something you have to get Mike Ellis added back on later.
Yes.
It's already there. So that's really cool that it did that. So, but anyway, Sophie, that
I'm so excited for
that's my
y'all.
Yeah.
if you like it, put down your placeholder and
Yeah.
start planning your next one.
All
7
right
nights in the
then.
Eastern Caribbean is mine.
Yeah,
Well, maybe we'll do that one, Daddy.
maybe we will. We'll have to talk it
Gorgeous.
all out. We talked with mommy about it and
Oh,
everything.
there's
so.
Alaska and stuff too. There's all kinds.
Oh, that's cold.
Yeah.
Not in the summer. It's not.
It's still cold in the summer, Daddy.
Well, not as cold.
Well, anyway,
have some
last but
planning to
not
do.
least, do you guys have any pictures you want to share?
I do. I have a boatload of pictures.
All right. Daddy, go ahead and pull up the pictures. Aunt Brenda, get yours ready.
Mine
Well,
are on
hers are
my
on her
phone, so I
phone.
won't be able to share them
Oh,
on here right now.
okay.
So I'm gonna scroll fairly quickly. Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna start with this one and share screen. Share that one.
Ooh.
Sweet. Cindy and Lisa.
That's outside the port at Port Everglades. And then that's the bad picture of the porthole. That you take that and you go up and you get on your ship, Sophie.
That
And
is so cool.
and it's Mickey ears, and a lot of times they position their cameras to get a selfie so it looks like the ears are on your head. I didn't do that this time though. That is the atrium, and that's our Captain Donald. Well, Donald
The
there.
statue.
Uh-huh. And that is right when we got on the ship. And you see some of the
Ooh.
details.
They announce your name when you get on.
They announced our names. So there's Lisa, there's me. They asked Lisa, what's your family name? And she said Ellis. And so they
Aw.
announced our name. And then that's Tiffany with her daughter Blair, who's looking away.
Okay.
We all got on the ship at the same time. We saw each other getting through the lines. So it worked out really well. That is the chandelier in the main lobby
Oh,
atrium area.
wow.
And then they had a chair and
A throne.
a
Yeah,
throne.
really.
And they had a throne. And so, and then there's my Jungle Crew skipper, just a selfie over the window. So that is our stateroom. And you see the porthole window, Sophie?
Yeah.
That's the webcam. So that's where this
Okay.
is before we left. And then some of the adornments, and then there's, there was plenty of space for our clothes. Bathroom is the door on the right. That's the door going out. And then that's the Walt Disney Theater. We had to go there for muster. That was our muster drill.
Okay.
That's the theater where we saw the Broadway shows. And they have balcony seating. We didn't do balcony seating, but they have it. And then this is the sail away party. And they had characters, and it's a video, but I'm not going to play it.
Yeah.
And you can see there was quite a few. There's R2D2.
Wally.
That one's Wally. They also had R2D2 later on too.
Towel art.
Yeah, we
That
had
one
great
looks
towel
like
art too.
I'm not
Looks like
quite
a
sure
little
what
doggy, like a little chihuahua.
Yeah, I'm
or
not sure.
I don't know what that one is.
And then a swan.
Ooh,
That was a
beautiful.
swan.
Definitely. That one
And
is
then this is see the kids with the beards? You're
They
not
had
supposed to
Dopey.
you're not supposed to take pictures, but I took one quick picture.
Oh,
One of those
Daddy.
kids in there was the one that was behind us.
Oh.
In the
Sweet.
I think it's the girl that on the far right. but that was just really cool. That was what Lewin did in our room
I
every
had the
night.
same exact towel one night. I had the same
And the
exact towel in.
candy, oh my gosh, the milk chocolate was so good, Sophie.
I want chocolate now.
This is
Mhm.
well, there might be some chocolate by the table there. I might have put some there
I'll
on the
rifle
top.
some out.
This is Animator's palette,
See how cute the chairs are, the little Mickey?
and
Oh,
the
wow.
people sitting there are Pixies and friends that came with them. So that's some of the Pixies that were there. We were
The
table
decor there is
127.
beautiful. It's black and white at first, Sophie, and then it turns to color, and they change
Yeah.
their outfits.
Ooh.
The staff.
This actually, I'm gonna play it real quick because it. You see how it changes?
I do see.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool, and I was like, I need to do that. So you see the pencils, and you see the all
Mhm,
that.
and the
Paintbrushes.
paintbrushes.
Yeah, there's
Uh-huh.
palettes around.
The
It's really
skylights and
cute.
the ceiling kind of looked like little pots of paint.
Yeah, this was the pork chop I
Yeah.
was telling you about. The risotto was a sun-dried tomato risotto. It was pretty good, but I didn't eat all of it. It got a
Okay.
little much after a while, but the sauce and the pork chop and the asparagus was incredible.
Ooh.
That was my dessert. It was
The
a chocolate
cheesecake.
cheesecake thing. That was really
Chocolate
good.
cheesecake thing.
I don't remember the exact name,
It
but
looks so cool.
this
Yeah.
is
Oh,
our
there.
stateroom door, and Lisa had these magnets made, and we had magnets when we got back.
They
Yay,
look
we had
so
magnets.
cute. I love
Yeah.
those magnets.
We were deck 6 midship on our veranda room. Great location.
This
Okay.
is shows that's the aqueduct. On the dream it's the aqueduct. On the magic it's the aquedunk.
Dunk. Mm-hmm.
On the aquedunk I think is like the slide where the floor opens up and you go down the slide.
The slide.
Ooh.
But this is the aqueduct, and I took this picture so you can see how it goes out over the water, but it doesn't do it very long. So I did not do that this time. Something
No.
I need to do later.
It
Um,
looks cool.
what was really cool, this is guest services, and then this is Asia. It shows all the different parks. It also shows the ships and where they are. And you see Alani as well. So I thought that was really cool. So I took a picture of it.
That is really cool.
And then this is the gumball machine in Vanellope's.
Nice.
Vanellope's is
And-
yummy.
Oh my gosh. Some of
Unicorn
those-
cupcakes.
Wreck-It Ralph chocolate sponge with chocolate mousse. That Beauty and the Beast cupcake Cindy had.
Yes, she showed me a picture of that. What is
Just-
that?
This is all
I
gelato.
have a lot of gelatos on there. Oh,
That's the cupcake Cindy bought. And then this, I took this screenshot because I did Life 360 and I wanted everyone to know that I was able to drive the ship at 9 miles per hour in my car.
He wasn't actually able to do it, but when he
see
sent
here,
me that
Mike,
picture,
Driving near Northeast Providence Channel,
That
driving
is
my
funny.
car in the water.
That's awesome.
and it was so funny because I immediately responded with, "You left mommy out there in the middle of the ocean.
Uh-oh.
For shame, Daddy."
Uh-oh.
And then the menu at Enchanted Garden. That's Nestor. That was our head waiter guy. And that's Johnny. He was with another table. There were a lot of people on this night that went to Palo, and we did not. So
Okay.
that's my creamed asparagus soup. Had crab in it. It was really good. That's my prime rib, and you see the potato. That was really
Yeah,
good.
the
And the root
tri-spike
vegetables.
potato. yum.
Ooh.
And then that was mommy's sirloin with potato and cauliflower. That cake, Sophie,
That looks
was
so dark.
it was so good, she said, and it was sugar free.
Sugar free.
it
That
was
was sugar
good.
free.
And
They
it was
must have
good.
used Swerve or Stevia or something in it.
Yeah. And then
And
there's
of course the Mickey bar.
that was my
That's
Mickey
between
bar.
2 hot chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah. And then some of the
Some of
paintings
the
they have for
paintings,
sale.
yes. Mommy showed me a lot of those paintings. Ooh.
And then that's our porthole window. This is when we were in Nassau.
Okay.
So this is us getting off of Nassau. And I did a panoramic from this is from when we had breakfast.
Okay.
And that's the catamaran that we were on. So you see some of it was just so relaxed. I can't, all of it doesn't, words don't do justice.
Pictures and words don't do justice, indeed.
That's the Michael Jackson, this
Yep.
part right here.
Yeah.
So it was just really neat. I had such good time, and I'm gonna see if there's any others that. There's a selfie I took. I thought I looked good in that selfie, which is unusual. There, we'll do that one. That one's the portrait view. And
That one looks better, Daddy, because we can see your happy smile.
Yeah. And then.
There's the rum cake factory.
Uh-huh. So you see they come in a little things. That's the pina colada one that we ended up getting rid of that one. It just wasn't that good. But
if you're not watching us on YouTube, you're
missing out.
But you're probably
yeah.
Ooh, what's that?
This one is one of the desserts that Mommy had. It was a some sort of date or something like that dessert.
Date?
Yeah. Like date the
like
fruit.
The fruit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks interesting. I would have guessed it was chocolate.
Yeah. And then that's from Castaway Cay. This is Serenity Bay.
Mm-hmm.
There's the show that I actually got in the sand.
Oh.
Water's cold.
And we actually got in the water, and it was cold, but it warmed up pretty quick. We didn't get in the water all the way. We just.
That water is so pretty, though.
Yeah.
This was
Is
a couple that we met.
Starfish?
Yes, it is. That's a couple we met, and we just started talking with them.
Wow.
It's a starfish underneath, and I have a better shot of it.
I
thought I did. There
I saw it. There it is.
Right there. And
wow.
It was really big. It was about the size of my hand or bigger.
My goodness. And then you also met up with another podcaster, didn't you?
I did, and I was going to talk about that at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the last show. This is the Disney Belief show.
Ooh.
And that and the girl, that's Sophia. That's her dad, Dr. Greenaway. And he's a horticulturist. And this is like the ending. It was so good. That show was so good. Actually, I think this is the no sugar added dessert. This one. The other one had sugar in it. This one was no sugar added. And Cindy said it was really
so
good.
That looks
She said
so
it was
yummy.
so good. And I had strawberry shortcake, which didn't have a whole lot of shortcake in it, but it was good too.
All of it looks delicious.
Lastly, we had the kiss goodbye for our last episode, last night before we left, and the characters walked right by us.
Oh, wow.
And Mommy got to meet with Daisy, and I love these pictures of Mommy.
I love that outfit that she's wearing.
She had, that's my placeholder.
Let's not put that anywhere.
So anyway, there you go. I'm done with my show and tell. Let me stop sharing. So.
Those are some great pictures, Daddy.
Thanks.
All right, then. Well, that concludes my interview unless Aunt Brenda has some last minute things to add.
No.
All right, then. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Sophie.
I can't wait to go on this cruise now. I don't know when it is, but oof.
You know, I'm thinking for the interest of time, it's time I think that we probably wrap up our feature topic.
Well, yeah, I was going to anyway.
And get on with the rest of our show.
Yes, because this show seems to have been going on for about an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
What can I say? There was a lot for you guys to talk about.
Yeah. So, Sophie, tell us about this day in Disney history for February 12th.
All right. February 12th, my friends, 1809. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th U.S. president, is born in a one-room log cabin in Hardin County. Wait, I thought it was from Illinois, not Kentucky.
He is the president from Illinois, but he was born in Kentucky and moved to Illinois.
Thank you,
So there
Daddy.
you go.
Okay,
You're
then,
welcome.
well, Hardin County, Kentucky. He is the first president born outside the original 13 colonies. Lincoln is the subject of such Disney attractions such as Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, which was originally created for the 1964 World's Fair, and the Walt Disney World The Hall of Presidents, to which there is a link provided to read Lincoln's Hall of Presidents speech. Walt Disney was always fascinated with the life of Lincoln. As a young boy, Walt recited Lincoln's Gettysburg Address for his elementary class, dressed up as the famous president.
Yeah.
In 2012, Touchstone Pictures released the historical drama Lincoln, produced by Steve Spielberg and starring Daniel Day-Lewis.
Nice.
Cool.
Great history.
Great history.
Thank you.
All right. I have an easy peasy. You
Yeah,
ready, Sophie?
I'm ready.
Stump the Soph.
You
I think
won't.
this is not stumpable,
Okay.
but we're going to try. This character is sinister.
Sinister.
Yes. A
Okay.
sinister sorcerer.
Maleficent?
No.
Jafar?
No.
No.
This character lures unsuspecting marks into deals.
Ursula?
No, but that's a really good guess.
She lures them into deals. A sinister sorcerer. Dr. Facilier?
That's right, Dr. Facilier.
Yay!
Yay!
I had 4 clues. The third clue was this character spreads darkness and corruption. And the giveaway is that this character is known as the Shadow Man.
That would have given it away.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Aladdin. There's so many people that could have been.
Yeah.
I think Sophie
But
guessed pretty much all of them.
I chose I chose Dr. Facilier because there were several shows that involved characters from Princess and the Frog, and I had spoken about Mama Odie last year around this time, and so I wanted it to be something like that. I was thinking originally something ship related, but that didn't work out because there weren't as many ship type movies that were talked about there. So anyway,
Nice. Very
good job,
Sophie.
Sophie.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Brenda, that takes us to you. You're going to close us out with a little bit of Walt?
Yes, I don't pose as an authority on anything at all. I follow the opinions of ordinary people I meet, and I take pride in the close-knit teamwork with my organization.
You know what? That speaks to my heart because I take pride in the close-knit organization I work with too.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, this year, last Tuesday, the show airs February 12th. February 6th was my birthday,
Yeah.
but it was also my 11th anniversary of being a Pixie travel agent.
Yay.
And I will tell you right now, being a Pixie has been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. And we have, in many ways, a very tight knit, close knit group that we work with.
Definitely.
and it all starts with my sister right there, Brenda.
Yeah.
But
It's a great group.
we have an awesome group, and Lisa is incredible, and we have a lot of agents that wear their heart right there or on their sleeve for you to
Mm-hmm.
see, you know.
Yep.
And so I can't imagine ever doing this for any other organization than Pixie. So
There you go.
anyway, I that quote was perfect. Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
And that wraps us up. Valentine's Day is right in the middle of the week. So next week is February 19th.
What are
And
we doing for next week's topic?
next week's topic is a great one. One of the things I got to thinking about in watching some of these shows, they had on the Golden Mickeys, they had an award for most romantic Disney movie.
Ooh.
So
And-
you wrote down some insider tips on there.
Well, no, I thought of a topic though.
I see it now. I'm looking at the topics list.
So next week, girls, we got some homework to do
Oh.
because we're actually going to do a 2 weeks in a row on movies. But this next week is our top 5 Disney romantic movies of all time.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I already got my number 1.
Good. You just have to come up with 4 others, and we'll count down 5 to 1.
All
It
right.
would
Number
not
one-
be difficult.
Number 1 is your all-time favorite. Number 5 is your 5th favorite. Okay?
Got it.
So that is next week, people. So
Yay.
put on your thinking caps too and tell us what your top 5 are.
Mm.
All right.
All
But
right.
until then, I want to say after we say goodbye, I have a special video that is going to run. That is an interview that I had on Serenity Bay at Castaway Cay with my friend Alisha, who is a pixie. And she is part of a brand new podcast with my friend Lee and my friend Katie. And their podcast is called Travel on the Rocks. And Alisha and I sat down together. Cindy recorded us and we talked about our different podcasts and what we do and how long we've been doing it and everything like that. And so
Cool.
that's going to run right after we say goodbye. But until then, I'm Mike. She's Sophie. That's Brenda. And he's Grogu. And we will
See you
See
on
you on
the
the
sea.
Road.
see you on the sea. Good one, Sophie.
Very good, Sophie.
All right then. Bye, everybody.
Oh, you stole
Hi,
Brenda's
everyone.
line.
No, I didn't.
Well, you almost did. Hey, everyone. I'm Mike from On the Road with Mickey.
And I'm Alisha, and I'm from Travel on the Rocks, and I'm actually without my 2 other partners from Travel on the Rocks, but we are representing down here at Castaway Cay.
Yeah, we're recording live from the beach of Castaway Cay. We're in Serenity Bay.
Yes.
And we wanted to come on real quick and just give a quick overcap and say hello from Serenity Bay and from Castaway Cay and just kind of tell each other about our podcasts. So my podcast is On the Road with Mickey, and I run it with my daughter Sophie and my sister from another Mr. Brenda. And we've been on the air for 4 years now.
4 years? That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is amazing. We tell each other that our podcast is so old, it's pre-COVID.
That's awesome.
So we meet and we record and we talk Disney mostly. We also talk about Universal and we talk about regional events that are going on, and we just meet weekly and we have fun. That's the biggest thing is we have fun and we talk about whatever comes to our mind, and it is not uncommon for us to be just laughing.
That sounds familiar, actually. So, I'm from Travel on the Rocks, and my partners are Katie and Lee. We are travel advisors together with the same agency that Mike works for. And funny with our podcast is Lee is actually based in Texas, I'm based in California, and Katie's based in upstate New York. So we do it, we video each other separately, but we at the same time, but we're able to put it together. So it's a lot of fun. We try to focus more, well, we've not been 4 years, we've had 4 episodes.
You gotta start somewhere, right?
So we're still figuring it out, but right now we try to focus on a lot of adult vacations, but that you can do family vacations as well. So for example, we're on the Disney cruise this week. It's amazing, but myself and my significant other actually left our child at home, and we are doing it basically adult style. So.
Exactly, and that's what Cindy and I are doing. And by the way, thank you to the lovely and talented Cindy for recording our video.
Yes, thank you, Cindy.
We are on our very first cruise, which is sacrilegious to hear when you find out I've been with Pixie for almost 11 years. In fact, when this record goes on air, it will be 11 years. So that's kind of sad.
Happy anniversary. I think it's amazing. That's what we look up to. So.
But we're on our first cruise without our daughter. She insisted we go. She's been worried that Cindy might get seasick because she's prone to that. But I will tell you, we'll seek her right here, right now. We have not had any sort of issues. We feel the motion, but the motion has not felt us, if you know what I mean. And we've been taking Bonine, and she's been really good. So.
And tell them about your room too, because you've got the inside room.
That's right. We booked a standard inside stateroom, so no windows. We did it mainly because of the price point, and it was a really good price point for 2 adults. It's a really good price point. And we're on a 4-night here, so we arrive back to Fort Lauderdale tomorrow. But it has a magical porthole, and it turns on. It's basically a webcam that shows the aft of the ship, so you see how it looks out there, and periodically you get characters that come on under the window to see them. Tinkerbell will set off fireworks and pixie dust, and you'll see Dumbo. We've seen Doug with his balloons from Up, and other ones, and it's just really neat. So
we got a veranda room, kind of in the same sense for the seasick, but I need to see a horizon, so that's why we got the veranda so that we can, and we love the ocean air too. So we just kind of, especially in the morning, we'll open it up, let the air come in. It's great. This ship has been phenomenal. No seasick issues really.
Absolutely.
It's been amazing. So, and for the price point, it was just a little bit more than the inside stateroom, and that's what we liked, so that's where we went. But it has been phenomenal. This is our first Disney cruise, our second cruise, but first Disney cruise. And if you think that you can't do Disney cruises as an adult, think again, because it has been amazing.
I know.
It's like with the adult, there's adult-only sections.
There's adult-only sections throughout.
Yes.
And in fact, Serenity Bay is the adults-only beach on Castaway Key. So there's no kids running around. It's calm, it's tranquil. We've just been talking to our friends and talking to strangers who become friends. And that's what's really unique about this Disney cruise. We booked the inside because we didn't know if we were going to like it. But I'll tell you, next one we do, I'll bet we do a veranda or a balcony.
Yeah.
Or at least a porthole.
But the stateroom, the inside stateroom, it is really roomy and that's one of the things I was worried about with the inside stateroom is it going to be too small? But no, it is really roomy. It's perfect for 2. I think 3 you could probably fit comfortably. I don't know if you'd go more than that, but.
Well, the interesting is usually I think they say they can sleep 3 to 4, but in our stateroom there's only 3 life vests. So I think our stateroom specifically was geared for 3.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a good point.
But the couch, the sofa that's there opens up for sleeping. I think 2 people is perfect. 3 would probably still be okay if our daughter was with us. But the bathroom is only 1 bathroom. It's not the split bath.
Oh, okay.
So that would be a little bit more of a challenge.
That's right.
With more than 2 people. But it's not like it would be a bad thing.
4 days you can deal with it on this and see this beautiful, just
I know.
beautiful area, beautiful Caribbean blue water. I'm just in awe. I've just been in awe this entire trip.
So Alisha, is there any specific format that you guys do, or that you're trying to follow?
Well, we're trying to. So normally we start out by we picked like a place. So just this last episode, we picked Disney and going over the different resorts and the different resort levels. So I think whenever I get back, we're gonna shift focus and either do a cruise, because we've also done Royal Caribbean, and then a couple other cruise lines, and we'll talk about Disney. But we really haven't quite figured out all of our rhythm just yet.
Yeah.
But we do like to have a cocktail during the podcast, which is why we're traveling the rocks. And so that kind of just gets our creative juices flowing, and then we laugh a lot as well. So
Well, that's cool.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. We don't really have a format. Sometimes it changes weekly. It changes.
Right.
Yeah.
We do have a format because I need to be structured like that. So the first episode we ever recorded was an introduction, and whenever I go back and listen to it, it was audio only. I'm like, oh my gosh, how rough was that? But it is also kind of cool to see how far we've come. But we always start off, we originally just started right off in what we call our feature topic. But then we started hearing a bunch of news, and Cindy was like, hey, you should talk about this on the podcast. And our friend Sheila was like, you should talk about this on the podcast. And then we're like, what should we call it? And Cindy just blurts out Cheddar from the Big Cheese. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And she's like, I was just kidding. I'm like, no, that is priceless.
Another shout out to Cindy and her creative.
Exactly.
And how
So
good she is.
we start off usually with some news, and that's Cheddar from the Big Cheese.
Okay.
Then we have our feature topic, whatever the topic is.
Okay.
And then after that, Sophie, there's a really cool Disney history website that Sophie will pull up the date that the air is going to be on, that the show's going to be on,
cool.
and she will look through and find an interesting tidbit of history and share it as her this day in Disney history.
I love it.
And then the funny thing is, I have a book of Disney movies, animated movies, with a whole bunch of characters, and I bought it for Sophie, and she ended up giving it to me for Christmas, and we have an episode, a segment called Stump the Soph. It used to be just Who's Who, and it's Stump the Soph, and I take a character and I underline a couple clues from that character, and I give them to her, and it's insane how quickly she usually gets those characters. It is
awesome.
Really scary, to be honest with you.
Oh, I love it. But how long have you been taking her to Disney, though?
Since she was 4,
Yeah.
and she will be 23 this year.
Aw. So I don't think you can stump her too much.
I do sometimes. and then the last thing, we close out with the really big segment, other than the feature topic, I think. And that's a little bit of Walt. And what happens is Brenda will look up during the week and share a specific Walt Disney quote.
That's nice.
Because the whole focus of our podcast is to tell people how much fun we have at Disney and how much fun we would like for their families to have at Disney, but also to look back to Walt, the creator of all that, and his legacy of where it's gone. And so that's the whole reason we do the show, is, for that love.
That's amazing. Oh,
And that's our show.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah, we love Disney, but we don't focus just on Disney. So, we definitely need to find different. So each podcast, when we pick a topic of whatever we're talking about, we do try to focus on, okay, these are the points of, if you're taking your children on this vacation, these are the things that you could look at or do, and there's the excursions. If you go adults only, this is what you can do. Here's some price points. So for example, the prepaid gratuities for the Disney cruise. I didn't know, and I learned actually going on here, is that instead of it being like, you will get basically a piece of paper in your cabin. It's a slip of paper that you put in the envelopes for each of your who you're supposed to tip and who your prepaid gratuities go to. I I had no idea. So I've got a little lesson on how the prepaid gratuities work. I'm going to take that back, and I'm going to tell all of on our next podcast when we're talking about the Disney cruises, and talk about where those gratuities do not go to and who you need to actually tip while on board. So we'll talk about that, and I think just a lot of the different, even though, like I said, even though it's a Disney cruise, there's a lot of things for adults. Like trivia is amazing. It doesn't have to always be about going to a bar, going to a casino, those type of things. Although the bars are really nice, by the way, they are excellent. There's no casino on board, but the trivia is great. The adults only pool is great. The spa. We even did the aqueduct, and that's really for, well, I guess that's for the whole family. But the aqueduct was super fun. So.
I did not do the aqueduct.
It's amazing.
I probably should do it now because I'm in my bathing suit.
Yes, you should.
Maybe Cindy will do it with me.
Maybe.
Cindy loves to whitewater raft, so
you
I
would
could
like
see
it.
the aqueduct being fun for her.
You would like it a lot. It is fun. Yeah.
So, excuse me.
Yeah, it's fun.
So anyway, that's our podcast.
Yes.
She's Alisha from Travel on the Rocks. Find her all over Facebook and YouTube.
Thanks.
And I'm Mike from On the Road with Mickey, and we're all over Facebook. We have a Facebook group. We have a page. Our website is ontheroadwithmickey.com, and that's where all the posts go up, and that's where the feed for the podcast episodes originates from. And then we also have a YouTube channel. So we hope you all come and say hi on our shows.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Thanks for stopping in.
Ask us any questions. We're here for you. So
that's exactly it. We love to help our clients and even non-clients and answer questions y'all have. So
absolutely.
So reach out to us.
Awesome.
All right.
This was fun. We love it.
It was fun. Thanks,
I love
guys.
it. No, thank you.
Bye.